It's been 1,000 days since Israel started its genocide in Gaza. In that time, it has committed gruesome crimes. Some were blips on the news, but many you probably never heard about at all. These are only 10 of these crimes, and they're not even the most horrific ones. They are just some of the most well-documented, despite Israel still barring journalists from entering Gaza. But together, they paint a clear picture of Israel's brutality and deception, and the impunity that has allowed both to continue. In this video, we'll tell their stories. On March 23, 2025, a Palestinian ambulance crew disappeared in Rafah. When other rescue teams were sent to find them, they disappeared too. For a week, no one knew what happened, until rescuers found 15 bodies buried in a mass grave, along their destroyed ambulances. Autopsies later found that many of the medics had been killed by gunshots to the head or chest. When Israel was asked about what happened, it said that the ambulances were moving suspiciously, that they had no headlights, no emergency lights, and that several Hamas operatives were among them. Then, they found the phone of one of the medics who had been killed. He had recorded the whole attack before they killed him. The footage showed the ambulances were clearly marked. They had their headlights on, and their emergency lights were flashing. After the footage was released, Israel changed its account. It said that due to poor night visibility, the deputy commander failed to recognize the vehicles as ambulances. That it was a professional failure. But why were the medics buried in a mass grave? Israel said it was to protect their bodies from wild animals. A professional failure led to the deaths of 15 medics and first responders, many of whom had been killed by gunshots to the head or chest. And to protect them from wild animals, the IDF buried their bodies in a mass grave alongside their ambulances. The medic's final words were captured on his phone. Forgive me, Mother. This is the path I chose to help people. Forgive me, Mother. In April 2024, Israel killed 7 aid workers from the World Central Kitchen, an American humanitarian organization. The World Central Kitchen said it had coordinated its aid workers' movements with the IDF. The IDF couldn't deny that. They admitted the aid workers had correctly coordinated their movements with the Israeli authorities, that the soldiers fired at the vehicles with insufficient cause, and that they fired not just at the first, but the second and third vehicle too, killing them all. Netanyahu released a statement saying it was unintentional. The founder of World Central Kitchen's Liberty chef Jose Anders doesn't believe that.
We were targeted deliberately, non-stop, until everybody was dead in this convoy.
And he isn't the only one who thinks the IDF is deliberately targeting aid workers. Even NBC confirmed the pattern.
They risk everything to feed people they did not know and would never meet. They were the best of humanity.
And Israel killed them all. On January 29, 2024, 6-year-old Hind Rajab was trying to escape Tel El-Hawa with her uncle, aunt, and 4 cousins when their car was attacked. Everyone in the car was killed, except for Hind and her 15-year-old cousin Layan. Layan managed to call the Palestinian Red Crescent. While on the phone, 62 gunshots were heard in 6 seconds.
Hello, marhaba.
Layan was killed, and 6-year-old Hind was left all alone in a car with 5 dead bodies. The Palestinian Red Crescent called. She answered, terrified, begging them to come and get her. They couldn't for hours, until they finally received approval from the IDF, but they lost contact with Hind. And then, with the rescue workers sent to find her. 12 days later, they were all found dead. The IDF denied it had coordinated with the ambulance, or that it even had troops within firing range. But a Washington Post investigation showed that was a lie. The head of the IDF's own coordination office told the Washington Post the ambulance had properly coordinated the rescue, and satellite images obtained by the Washington Post showed Israeli tanks and armored vehicles were less than 1,000 feet away. 6 munition experts said the damage to Hind's car and the ambulance sent to rescue her was consistent with weapons used by the IDF. Israel killed 6-year-old Hind, her 4 cousins, her aunt and uncle, and the 3 medics sent to save them. On July 3, 2024, IDF soldiers raided the home of 24-year-old Muhammad Bahar in Gaza. Muhammad had Down syndrome and autism and was there with his 70-year-old mother and the rest of his family. The soldiers entered the house with a military dog. The dog attacked Muhammad, biting his chest and arm as the soldiers watched. His mother begged the soldiers, "He's disabled, have mercy on him. Keep the dog away from him." Muhammad too pleaded with the dog, "Enough, Habibi, enough." Eventually, the soldiers interfered. They took Muhammad to another room and didn't let his family in. After a while, they ordered the family to leave the house at gunpoint and leave Muhammad behind. When the family returned to their home, they found Muhammad dead on the floor. When the BBC released a report on the incident, the IDF confirmed that a military dog has bit an individual, that his family was urged to evacuate their apartment to avoid staying in a combat area, and that the soldiers left him alone because they were needed elsewhere. A young man with Down syndrome was attacked and left alone to die. On April 16, 2024, 10-year-old Shahid and 9 of her friends were playing football in Al-Maghazi refugee camp. They were hit by a missile and all 10 children were killed. CNN investigated the strike. It provided Israel with the time and coordinates. The IDF said it had struck a terror target. CNN continued its investigation and found contradicting evidence. 3 independent weapons experts concluded that the children were most likely killed by an Israeli precision-guided missile. One expert said there was no question it was an Israeli strike. When CNN then asked the IDF what the terror target was, the IDF changed its account. It said there was no strike at the time or place. But 10 children who went out to play football with their friends never returned home. Israel killed them all. On February 29, 2024, thousands of starving Palestinians gathered around 8 trucks in northern Gaza. They were trying to get food for their families, but more than 100 of them were killed. Doctors and witnesses said the IDF had shot at the gathering crowds. Israel said that wasn't true, that the deaths were caused by a stampede. The IDF even released drone footage to support their account, but separate footage captured the sound of gunfire. And a New York Times analysis found that the IDF footage had been edited.
But the IDF footage is incomplete. It cuts between crowds surrounding the trucks and bodies lying on the ground. Even this reveals they were firing in a densely packed area, likely to cause severe bloodshed. CNN requested the full footage from the IDF, but it was denied.
Israel then changed its account. It said the soldiers opened fire because they felt threatened. 118 Palestinians were killed. They were trying to get food for their families.
You're saying that children in Gaza are being shot by snipers.
Definitively. I have 2 children that I have photographs of that were shot so perfectly in the chest I couldn't put my stethoscope over their heart more accurately, and directly on the side of the head. In the same child. No toddler gets shot twice by mistake by the world's best sniper.
This was a Jewish American doctor saying Israeli snipers were targeting Palestinian children. And he isn't the only one.
I can confirm that we are seeing single shots to the head, neck, chest. My partners down in the emergency room who are working absolutely tirelessly to stabilize these folks so they can survive to surgery have reported to me that 2 days ago, they lost 6 children under 12 to single shots to the head. This is worse than anything I've ever seen.
And this British doctor says it's even worse.
For example, we'd see patients coming in with gunshot wounds just to the head and neck. On another day, they'd be coming in with gunshot wounds to the chest or the abdomen. One day, about 12 days ago, we saw 4 young teenage boys, 13, 14, all of whom had been shot specifically in the testicles.
Goodness me.
So the very clear clustering of these injuries appeared to us like a target practice, a game was being played.
You know why they're killing Palestinian children? They think Palestinians are Amalek. If you don't know Amalek, here's what the Bible says about them. Kill them all, men, women, and even infants. Because that's what the Israeli Prime Minister had told them. And that's what their soldiers are doing. And now, over 20,000 Palestinian children are dead. On July 5th, 2024, a Palestinian prisoner was rushed from the State Amman prison to a field hospital in critical life-threatening condition. The official military indictment said the detainee suffered a punctured lung, 7 broken ribs, ruptured bowel, and severe internal tear in his rectum. A month later, a video of the incident was leaked.
Newly published footage from inside a notorious detention facility appears to show Israeli soldiers sexually assaulting a Palestinian detainee.
They were identified as members of the IDF's Force 100. 9 soldiers were detained. But shockingly, Israelis started protesting the soldiers' detention.
A few weeks ago, hundreds of protesters, including members of parliament, stormed State Amman and the base where the accused soldiers were being held.
We are here to stand and to talk and to say that this is not allowed anymore. We are not allowed to investigate our soldiers.
Israeli mainstream media started justifying the rape of prisoners.
זה מגיע להם, זו נקמה ראויה מאוד, רק חבל שלא עושים את זה בצורה ממוסדת כחלק מתקנון התעללות בעצירים.
And the rabbi even blessed one of the perpetrators. He told him, even if it was true, don't we have the right to act this way? Then he placed his hand on the rapist's head and said, you will be found innocent. And the rabbi was right. Despite all the international media attention, despite all the evidence, the charges were dropped. And not just that, Netanyahu then issued a statement that the rape that was caught on camera was a blood libel, and that these soldiers were heroes. The rapists are the heroes in Israel. On December 15th, 2023, 3 Israeli hostages held in Gaza managed to escape. To show they were not a threat, they took off their shirts, raised the white flag, and shouted for help in Hebrew. Israeli soldiers still opened fire and killed all 3. The IDF chief of staff then said that the 3 hostages had done everything so that we would understand they were harmless. That the shooting of the hostages was carried out contrary to the open fire regulations. That it's forbidden to shoot those who raise a white flag and seek to surrender. But the soldier who shot the hostages told one of the mothers that this was a lie.
לא משנה באיזה גיל, ישר לא משחקים עם זה, ישר כאילו להרוג. אפילו אמרו לנו, אם זה אישה או ילד, תעשו את השיקול שלכם.
His orders were to kill any Palestinian man on sight. It didn't matter if they were armed or a threat. For 3 years, the media would occasionally sympathize with the innocent Palestinian women and children, but never the men, as if they were all guilty. So we will end this video with the greatest of them all. Dr. Adnan al-Bursh was one of the most respected surgeons in Gaza. When the IDF besieged the Shifa hospital in 2023 and ordered the staff to move south, he refused to abandon his patients and instead moved north to work under fire at the Indonesian hospital and later at the Auda hospital.
This is the recovery room. Full darkness, no water, no electricity. But we have a hero, surgeons in Gaza.
Israel then abducted him in December 2023. He was taken to the Sdete Man prison, then to the Ofar prison where he died. Multiple reports came out about his final moments, that he was sexually assaulted.
And described how this surgeon's mode of torture was being raped to death. He had been serially raped on a daily basis for 2 weeks prior to his dying.
Israel's prison service issued a statement denying responsibility. They also never offered an explanation or a cause of death. And 2 years later, they're still refusing to return his body to his family. Dr. Adnan is not the only one. 1,571 medical workers have been killed since October the 7th, and 446 are still being detained. Their only crime is they refuse to abandon their patients.
Why don't you go with your family south?
And if I go, who treats my patients? They are not animals. They have the right to receive proper health care. You think I went to medical school and for my postgraduate degrees for a total of 14 years, so I think only about my life and not my patients? I'm asking you, ma'am, do you think this is the reason why I went to med school? To think only about my life?
Dr. Hammam, a kidney specialist, was killed 10 days after this interview in an Israeli strike on his home. There is not more to be said. Dr. Hammam didn't abandon the Palestinians, but the world did. It let a brutal, cruel, and oppressive regime commit a genocide in front of all our eyes.
سوف نبقى هنا
كي يزول الألم
سوف نحيا هنا
سوف يحلو النغم
موطني موطني
موطني ذا اللبن
موطني أنا
كم مرة سوف نبقى هنا كي يزول الألم سوف نحيا هنا سوف يحلو النغم موطني 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 ذا الهباء موطني 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 يا أنا